I didn't know any better, I'd say that I should create a separate template for late night chill streaming like this. But I kind of do fit the format for that sort of stuff. Can't get the microphone in just the right place, though. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, and yes, Logan, new music. So, not really new music, it's from the YouTube audio library like the rest of them, but I've been perusing the jazz catalog and stuff like that. So, I think, with this whole setup with the dark blue and all this other stuff, that it's basically a late night jazz lounge in here anyway, so why not go for that kind of relaxing setup and stuff along those lines. Might even consider reconsidering, if I stream at night, don't be so wild about it. Save the wild stuff for if I'm streaming in the evening when it's still prime time, but definitely be, if it's after midnight or something along those lines, then yeah. Okay, so everything snowballed, to put it nicely. At the center of everything is a little something that's going on with one of my IRL colleagues who is basically looking to become a YouTuber. So he actually messaged me saying, "Hey Jay," let's see how I get it on the phone here. It's like, "Hey Jay, I'm looking to start a YouTube channel. I have a GoPro and a micro SD card. What should I get?" Oh man. See, why I'm laughing at this is this guy is the furthest thing from a tech person that, in terms of becoming a YouTuber. So I actually had to think about it for a second there, because I was like, well, what kind of computers can edit video? Basically anything with CPU and RAM and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, though, is because he was nice enough to ask about it, I'm going to take the tech videos in that direction. So I really want to see, I'm kind of spoiled with my i7 and RTX 2060, but I'm actually using, well, spoiled as in I actually got a graphics card before all the supplies dried up. It was a stimulus unemployment thing last year in 2 years ago in 2020. And I was like, well, I think the 3000 card's going to be super expensive when they come out, so I'm going to buy a 2000 card and just upgrade to that from my 1060. And I'm sorry I was that right. This is probably the time where I am so sorry that I was right about something. But, who could have... other than COVID being what it is, who could have foreseen what's going on here? This takes some getting used to, though. I'm not used to my secondary screen coming out like this. I also, unfortunately, did not take a certain little detail into account when it comes to the secondary screen, which is the reason why I'm wearing different sunglasses today. But anyways, main discussion is basically going to be about... It's going to be about this whole situation with our friend here who wants to become a YouTuber in 2022. But there's plenty of recap discussions to talk about as well. But I'll just say this with regards to all of that. Because he was nice enough to reach out to me about all of this, it actually gave me some ideas for some tech videos. So here's what I'm going to do. On the tech video side of things, we're going to experiment with Delosaurus Rex bone stock with no graphics card, as though this guy had gone and bought himself like a corporate refurb. We're also going to check it out with Nerdovo, so that if he buys a mid-range like $500 laptop or so, then would that work? And I'm also going to experiment with this on the turd Shiba, which was recently retired. I originally was going to keep running it into the ground and just use Nerdovo as a service laptop, but I'm like, this is an 11th gen i5 that's sitting around doing nothing. Or I think it's 11th gen anyways. I don't really brag about the stats of the computer very much, but it's got more CPU power than this computer does, because it's actually a newer i5 with similar... We just played this with the launch, start music here. So we went to all that trouble, and I went to all the trouble to get something like that. It actually has more CPU power than this main system does. So I'll have to check that out. Now, let's see here. We have plenty of recap discussions to have, though, before we get to talking about that. But the tech videos are going to go in that direction. We're going to experiment with what it's like to try and edit video on all of those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go take the stuff from the last tech video, the assets from that. I'm going to create two Corel files. I'm going to have one that's incomplete and one that's completed, so I can just get some footage of, what it's like to video edit something together, and also get a good idea of the final crunch time and just how the different processor and RAM amounts affect all of that. I'm legit curious, though, because I have heard of people with nothing better to do with a laptop sitting around, that have edited videos on the laptop, and then it would just sit there crunching for like an hour, and they'd go off and do something else. So it's just a thing where, I mean, this guy doesn't really have a tech or a YouTube background. I think he just wants to make some video. I don't even, probably for his friends or something. Definitely a well, first thing we got to do is we got to establish, should he be on YouTube at all? If it's just filming videos for his friends, he should keep it on Facebook. But if he wants to get the general public involved, I think YouTube would be a good place for him. Now, we talked about, this is going to take some getting used to, having screen number 2 like this. Watch this. Look at that. Screen number 2. We can even get screen number 2 in the shot and show the whole darn thing. So, but there is something that's a little different about this whole screen number 2 setup. I want to get the project. I want to basically show chat and get the project area in there. I also have the camera set at 6500, so hopefully it's not turning me orange when all the lighting is done. So, anyways, I had to wear different glasses for this. These are shades, so everything's darker than it normally is. Usually the glasses that here's the ones I've been wearing up to this point. They're similar style, but they're ambers. So it's like wearing gaming glasses and it blocks out the blue light. These are shades, so they're making everything a little darker. So I had to crank the brightness even higher to compensate. Well, I have the brightness maxed on this thing, not so much on that thing. But I actually had to crank the brightness to, try and compensate. But if I do like sunglasses at night like this, if I get like that old 80s song and I wear my sunglasses at night, they need to be ambers like these are. So here's the problem, and maybe you can see it a little. Maybe you can actually see it a little if I do this. No, put live control room off to the side and just show the background. Let me show you a little something. I was in for a nasty surprise. I just went to all the trouble to set up this Walmart on monitor as my screen number 2, and I'm wondering if I should just go buy a Samsung, because the pixels and the way it draws light is sideways compared to the TV. Net result, see that? Look at this. The polarizing, these are polarized sunglasses, and because they're polarized, I can't look at my screen number 2. Look at how it's blacking out unless I hold them sideways. So this on monitor, look at that. You can't see anything. It's blacked out. And then it lightens up if I turn them sideways. So these are off the table if I use this monitor. Here's the Dr. Disrespect style ones that don't have a boundary on the bottom. Let's open these up. Let's open these up and let's do the same thing. See, everything's blacked out, but it lightens up as I turn them sideways. You can see more of it. Yeah, see that? Here's the fun part. You know, I can look at the TV with these, and I have the opposite problem, where if I turn my head sideways with these, then it starts to black out. So these are polarized sunglasses, and the way... These are polarized sunglasses. Both of these are, actually. And the way that this Walmart display draws its picture is blocked by polarized sunglasses. The Samsung TV is not. So, after stream, I'm going to look for like blue sunglasses, ambers, non-polarized. And we'll see. I can't believe stupid little thing like this is in play here. Look at this. If I want to have this whole, especially if I use them as gaming glasses to block the blue light, especially late at night when I'm doing this, if I want to get to sleep afterwards, this is nuts. I should make a quick O-flick about this. I should make a quick O-flick video about this. A little something related to on monitor. If you use polarized sunglasses as gaming glasses, this happens to you, and you can't even see your own screen. Oh man, oh man, oh man, what am I gonna do here? So, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I mean, I wear glasses outdoors. I don't get a lot of sunlight these days. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save these. And then if I upgrade this to a Samsung at some point, something, you know, more major brand than what I usually use. If I upgrade to a Samsung and get back to this being like a Samsung showroom up here, I probably, you know, can... Oh, this actually makes better if I just do... You can even see it if I do this. Look how everything darkens up. So this is technically a sideways LCD panel. Oh man, what am I gonna do? This is technically a sideways LCD panel. It's drawing everything sideways, But these are not polarized. They're just shades. So I gotta see if these kinds of sunglasses exist on Amazon after tonight's stream, because I don't wear shades when doing this kind of stuff. It's got to be ambers, and apparently it's got to be non-polarized as well. Wow. Or I can just get a proper display instead of this Walmart crap, but this would be a waste of a display. Plus, I still have that display over there in the project area. Do I really want to get fancy? Do I really want to get all Captain Fancy Pants, where I have multiple displays in the project area, but I'm not even over there half the time? This is a darn good looking display too, and it looks like it matches the Samsung. Okay. Let's hop in the let's sign out of this. Browse as guest, please. Why the heck is it pulling my Microsoft account? No. Let's use Microsoft Edge. Let me just go to Newegg.com. Do some showrooming on Newegg. Hello, light mode. Hello, dark mode. Samsung monitor. What do those go for these days with all the chip shortages? Samsung monitor. No, I don't want a $1,000 curved monitor, you piece of crap. No, thank you. Please, just only ships from and sold by Newegg. I'm obviously going to showroom this and go to Amazon afterwards. Samsung Odyssey G5 32-inch WQA 1440p monitor. No, I want it to be 1080. Let's get rid of all the fancy crap. Oh man, recommended resolution 1920 by 1080, please. Get rid of the fancy crap. I don't want to see like 2K or 4K or whatever. Matter of fact, since the maximum whatever it is 60, let's do 60 FPS for the refresh. Can we do like 60 hertz or something? Curved surface? No, I don't want that. Panel. There's only one that's available these days. Ooh, there's FreeSync as well, if I really want to play with that kind of stuff. Give me just 60 hertz. What's the basic 1080 60 Samsung monitor these days? $229 for 27-inch. Oh, it's curved, that's why. How about the regular one? $169. That's not that bad. $169, 23.5-inch viewable, full HD, 1920 by 1080 VGA. The problem is it's $169. This on monitor was like $80. So I don't know. Let me just check Amazon before we proceed with things here. Let me just see. Amazon.com. Hey, do you want to sign in? Not in this car. Let's see here. Blue non-polarized sunglasses, amber. Do they well, I'm getting lost in a sea of styles now. Nah. Oh, there's one by Tifosi, Optics Track, Smoke Bright Blue. There's one by Velazio. There's a couple that look like Ray-Ban. Ooh, the Tifosi Jet sunglasses are actually silver and blue. Very similar to what I used to have. And it says that it's non-polarized. Sweet. I might just go with something like that. Is there one that's available like black and blue? That's more my color. No, it's only silver and blue. It's only silver and blue. I don't know. Silver and blue might look okay. Might look pretty like robotic. No, robot. Like cyborg or something. I haven't had the cyborg look in a long time. My original sunglasses were like that too. I might just get those. Amazon Prime those bad boys over. As long as they're non-polarized, that's what matters. Now we get all the outdoorsy sunglasses and the flying fishermen's and stuff like that. But I like those robotic looking glasses. Then there's some that look like Ray-Bans. No, it's got to be like Oakley style like this. Ooh, here's another one. It's aqua colored and it's blue. It looks like Dr. Disrespect's type thing. Looks like if Dr. Disrespect was a mermaid, basically. Please perish the thought, those who are wondering about that. They do have one that's black and blue, though, by Bevy, designed in the USA. But but it's polarized. You can't be polarized. Alrighty. Logan, what are you talking about here? One of these days I want to edit a proper video, not just a discussion on my laptop just for the heck of it. The problem is I'll be limited to 720p if I want halfway decent render times. Probably wouldn't be a pleasant experience anyways. Now go 1080 on it. Just leave the laptop somewhere and go play video games on an Xbox or something for an hour. Look, I think that's really the big thing we're talking about here with my friend here is that the my colleague here, I believe, is going to run into those kinds of render types. So it'd have to be the sort of thing where he just leaves it going and then he goes off and does something else. I can tell you, you know, the 2005 system was the first system. The 2005 system was actually the first computer that I ever used for YouTube stuff like this. So we're talking single core processor. Yeah, it's just like, and we were also dealing with DSL at the time too. So don't forget, I mean, let me just maximize this. I don't really think I'm gonna be putting this on the screen too much, but DSL was in play. So we're talking like hours of uploads. It would routinely be the case that I have to leave something uploading overnight. So what do you that's the thing with that. But yeah, we're talking overnight we had overnight uploads. Rendering would take like 20-30 minutes, and that was his standard def. Never mind something that's 1080 30, never mind 1080 60. But this guy apparently has a GoPro. So yeah, GoPro. He got a GoPro for I did. I'm gonna have to compare the one he got versus the Sony. See what the video quality is on that, because if you look at my cat videos playlist, Cats Rule the Internet, there's actually a lot of GoPro videos in there from folks in Japan on the cat island. It might be the same guy, I think. Folks in Japan on the cat islands out there that are basically going around with a GoPro on an upside down monopod filming cats, because there's so many like stray cats around there. They're all friendly because they're all used to humans and stuff. So he just goes around, lives on his little fisherman island, going around petting cats all day. Boy, what a life that is. Actually, you know what? I bet any money that is super advertiser friendly. It's incredibly popular, has a large potential audience. Let me actually go to it's Japanese. So, but YouTube for some reason has been translating it. Please mute the tab. But YouTube is at, let me see if I get, it's probably in my like thing for, it's probably in my list here. The Apartment Cat, The Real Godzilla. Oh, you know what? I can just go to my playlist, then go to the channel page from one of those. Take me back to the MultimediaJay channel here. And let me just go to that playlist, Cats Rule the Internet. Cats, oh, look, I'm getting a Hills Science Diet ad. So, yeah, oh, here it is. It's not translating in Firefox. It must be Google Translate in Chrome. Oh, no, it's translating the title as Impressed Cat Video, but not when it's still Japanese characters when it's in the playlist. So let me actually go to this channel page here. All right. 737,000 subscribers. I'm a stray cat YouTuber, takes videos of stray cats all over Japan. My videos are updated daily. This might be in English, but let me see here. All right, I think we need to set something up with OBS on screen too now. Oh, it just automatically snapped it over. Well, that's nice. Oh, that's the minimum size anyways for it. Okay, so we get a little bit of OBS in the frame. Who cares? Let me see this here. Let's see. We want to minimize live control room for this so it doesn't link up to live control room. So different though, having this thing like this. Switch off, link the browser to Impressed Cat Video. Oh, look at that. It's playing my playlist in the corner. Cats Rule the Internet, video number 5 out of 68. Let's close that out. It's been around since 2016. Let's make this full size. No, we can put live control room back on there. That's the only way I can see chat. All right, let's see here. I'm a stray cat YouTuber, takes videos of stray cats all over Japan. My videos are updated daily on this channel. Oh, is it TikTok? That must be cool. I gotta go check out this guy's TikTok too. But yeah, stray cats all over. Well, I'm guessing the Cat Islands are one of them. But let's look at the videos here. Like 6,000. The Calico Cat and Man on the Road will happily follow me. Oh, this is a new one I haven't seen yet. Let's put this in the playlist. Nah, we'll do that later. 8.8K. Look at these thumbnails. 8 grand, 15 grand, 25 grand. So I think a lot of what's limiting, it's very ad friendly though, but I think a lot of what's limiting this guy's views versus like Munchkin is that it's just literally raw cat footage. So what's the, oh, a stream. This guy's streaming too. Sweet. I should go over here and check out this channel afterwards. Tuxedo Cat jumps up and tries to be stroked. Look at these. Yeah, every single mouse over preview is a cat being pet, right? Not this one. Good job, YouTube, in not letting it be too monotonous. Look at this. Yeah, so, and I think Google Chrome, or no, YouTube, but YouTube's a Google service. There might be some translation going on here. As we go into the playlist, it changes back to Japanese characters. So, look at that. Yeah, almost every single mouse over preview is a cat being pet. So yeah, but this is raw footage. Munchkin puts a little more production value into her videos. And as the Munchkin cats, it's, you know, there's lighting and other stuff. And it's also the kind of like, you know, algorithm friendly stuff with like, oh, what happens when cats run into this? Or what happens if I put cut a hole in a box and then have the cats try to eat it or try to eat the treat that's inside and they can't squeeze through the hole, like that sort of thing. So it's a bit more like academic or stuff, whereas this is just guy wandering around with a GoPro and a bunch of cats want to be pet. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, so that's all GoPro footage. It looks 60 FPS, so it looks a little uncanny valley and stuff along those lines. All right. There's a little something I want to do while we're doing all of this now that I've just smurfed myself here. Let's fire up Excel. How well does the Excel thing still work? Does it link? I guess that's good enough. I want to check out, I want to look at a little something with these save this. Let's give this spreadsheet a name. I want to actually run some numbers on something related to this new TV while we're at it. So let's do TV Power Showdown. I want to just compare like the old TV to the new TV. So do I have it here? Sort Spreadsheets, MultimediaJay, save. So it has a name now. And put everything back over to Excel mode. All right, let's take a look at it. I gotta title this too with Excel mode. I gotta title this with Excel mode here. I just want to do kind of a showdown before we head off to like a main discussion of sorts. I want to do a showdown of the old TV versus the new TV. So let's see, old TV. Let's do old TV, new TV, and put some space in the middle. Space it like this. I just want to see something here. Oh, you can barely see that. There we go. Make it nice and big. All right, let's see here. Wattage. No, full. No, let's do idle wattage. Full wattage. I want to compare, you know, the idle and the full wattage of these TVs. Because this new TV, in order for it to be a smart TV and to have it be voice controllable with like the Amazon and other assistants, it actually has to stay running, and we know that it does like 7 to 8 watts of idle wattage. So I want to just compare. Is this the cable box problem all over again? I'm wondering if I should hard switch this TV and then turn it on with a smart power adapter. I just have to place it so I could, you know, manually hit the button if it lagged out on the network and it wouldn't work. So, but I just want to see here. Idle wattage, full wattage, hours of operation, and let's do hours off. I just want to compare the numbers. Let's do cost per kilowatt hour. Cost per kilowatt hour, days, total cost. And let's square these off against each other. And let's see how it all adds up. See how it all adds up here. Old TV, new TV. Because the old TV did not have idle wattage, but the new TV does. But the old TV also used more wattage when it was powered on. So let me just compare some of these costs here. We'll do it over like a 30-day period for simulating a typical electric bill. Let's do this here. Center everything as we go. I just want to see here. So the old TV did not have an idle wattage, but the new TV is at about 7 watts. We got it to about like I think it was like 95 watts with the backlight all the way down on the old TV. And this one is about 30 watts with the, we'll just go like, yeah, 30 watts for this one. Let's say I run it 8 hours a day. Doesn't it? You know what? Let's think about this for a second here. So I get up at, if I get up at 12 noon, or let's just do 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, because I get 8 hours of sleep, go to bed at 5 in the morning. Get up at 1 o'clock for the night shift job. And I have the TV running 2, 3, 4, head off to work, that's 3 hours. Get home at 1 a.m., 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. That's about 7 hours of runtime. That's about 7 hours of runtime if it's on all the time, and I shut it off afterwards. That even might be a little generous. So 7 hours of that, and then equals 24 minus this per day. 24 equals 24 minus this. So it's off 17 hours a day. Let's do idle cost, operating cost, total cost. Let's do it that way. All right, cost per kilowatt hour. I think Connecticut is lower than 10 cents. I think Connecticut is lower than 10 cents per kilowatt hour, so let's just do it this way. Yeah, free electricity. In what world? 0.10, 0.10, and 0.10. So let's do 10 cents per kilowatt hour over 30 days. So the idle cost is going to equal, for every hour, say that number of wattage. So nothing. Idle wattage per, we'll assume it's that per drawn per hour, times, trouble with this keyboard again, times hours off. Now we'll just multiply by 30 for the one at the bottom. Times hours off times days. Actually, let's do some more. Let's change that up. Daily idle cost. Daily operating cost. And then total cost at the bottom. That's really the thing. I mean, you can add these up manually if you want to see per day. So equals the idle wattage is 0 times, make sure it works, the hours off. That's not going to be anything. Equals the full wattage. No, the idle wattage. Equals the idle wattage times. Actually, we have to divide this because it's kilowatt hours, so we'd have to divide that by 1,000. We'll modify those formulas afterwards. Times hours off. Yeah, like $119 a day. Way too high. We see that. That E4 should actually be E4 divided by 1,000. Multiplied by E7. 11 cents a day in idle wattage versus, take this C4, which is the idle wattage, divided by 1,000 times C7, 0. All right, so let's just format those. Format those into currency formats. All right, and the daily operating cost equals, divide by 1,000 for this. The full wattage divided by 1,000 multiplied by the hours of operation. Let's see, 66 cents. 66 cents a day. I gotta see what that other thing is then. Maybe be able to copy the formula over and have it take everything over properly. Versus 21 cents a day. Let's do total cost per day. Grand total. Bring that in. You can also bring this down so that's a little smaller. Just want to see, because the problem with the cable box is the last time I had to deal with a cable box was that the power switch wasn't really a power switch and it drew a crap ton of wattage. So I wound up hard switching it with a surge protector. Hey, what's up, Dan? Running some numbers here, and we're going to talk about a colleague of mine who's who wants to get into YouTubing and what kind of computer he would want to use for that. Total cost per day equals the idle cost plus this, 67 cents. So it looks like it does pull ahead. This plus this, 33. There we go. The grand total for this, about 67 cents per day then to run the old one, times in a 30-day period comes out to about 20 bucks a month to run the TV. Then we will have the total cost per day times 30 days. So we go from $19 a month. I guess depends on content. It goes from $19, goes from just shy of $20 a month to like 10 bucks a month. So we cut everything in half. We cut everything in half with this new TV, even though it never really turns off. Let's see. I want to make this... let's see. Undo that. Make this bigger because we want to actually word wrap the next one. So let's put something in here. And let's do hard switched. Control Enter. Or how about Shift Enter? Now I'll just turn on word wrap. We'll do hard switched new TV. Format, cells... Set that to word wrap. Turn on word wrap, center it, and bold it. Like this. Hard switched, and let's make it bigger. Hard switch new TV. Why isn't it wrapping to... It should wrap to 2 of them. Okay, there we go. Make this bigger. Make 3 bigger than 2, excuse me. All right, bold that. Let's compare off the hard... Well, let's make it bigger. Bring in the hyphen. So for the hard switch new TV, that brings us to an idle wattage of 0. And we'll just have it equal this. So there is no idle wattage. Now we'll just have it copy everything equals. We'll just have it copy everything over here. Why is it coming out with 12 cents per day, though? E10. No, we got to copy the formulas over. So these were... It's copying that. But we want to take all the formulas and copy them over. So if I hard switch this and I use a smart outlet, now we're talking about going down to $6 a month of operating costs at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. Let's see here. And that's at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. If it's down to 7 cents, what does that do? So how about for cost per kilowatt hour, we make equals this. And for this one, equals that. Put a box around the one where we set it. There we go. So at 10 cents, what if it's down to 7 cents? I think I've seen it go down to 7 cents. Cost per kilowatt hour. And what is this? C12. No, cost per day. Oh, it's just C10. No. Let's hold on a second. Times C7 hours off. Idle wattage. Oh, we're not multiplying. None of these numbers are right. We're not multiplying by the cost per kilowatt hour. All right, let's nuke all of that. Let's try this again. The daily idle cost. Let's do the operating cost first. Equals the full wattage times the full wattage times the hours of operation. Not $665. Just give me a number. Put it back to general mode. So it's 665. Now take that, divide that by 1,000. Divide that by 1,000 to convert to kilowatts. Put this all together. Why am I trying to do math at 3 in the morning like this? And times the cost per kilowatt hour. Bam. Daily operating cost 5 cents. That makes a little more sense. Well, so let's double check all of that. All right. So the full wattage, no, we want to get that to kilowatts though. That's 95 watts. 95 watts during, let's do this first. Equal. So we want to take the wattage and divide by 1,000. So we want to convert this to kilowatts. So take this, divide it by 1,000, gives us not 10 cents. Switch back to general, please. 0.095 kilowatts. Run that for an hour. Is kilowatt hours. So run that for an hour. We want to multiply that by the number of hours of operation. 0.665. And then multiply that by the cost per kilowatt hour. And put that So we have kilowatts times number of operating hours. And then the cost per all of that. Get our order of operations correct here. The cost of all of that time, so basically 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So we convert to kilowatts times number of hours for 7 cents gives us a nickel a day. Woo! And let's make sure that the C5 that is referenced. You know what? Let's make sure the C5 is absolute. Well, not really. We only want the 5 to be absolute. All right, so 0.5. So when we take it over to the new TV's operating costs, a penny. All right, so E5 is the full wattage when you're, so 30 watts divided by 1,000 to kilowatts times E6 for number of hours of operation. So we have kilowatts times hours, and then we multiply by the number per kilowatt hour, because we have kilowatts and hours times 7 cents per kilowatt hour. All right, that makes a lot more sense. Let's take that formula over to here. Now let's do idle cost by just modifying a few things. Paste 1530. Yeah, this is totally wrong. The idle wattage is going to be from 4, actually. 4 times the hours off, which is from E7, which is from E7. 4 times the hours off from E7. Oh, I got that wrong. That was actually E8. Go back to this. Oh, it is pulling from E8 for those. It is pulling from 8 for those things. So if the kilowatt hour, actually, if the kilowatt hour is in there, if kilowatt hours are always coming from 8, then we would just want to do that instead. Controls. Is this control key acting up now? Copy, paste, paste. There we go. Now let's see this formula here. All right, so we have all of that. So it's 0.07, da da da. So for this one, what? Why am I getting a right click? Man, wrong button. I'm hitting the right panel button. I haven't done that in years. All right, so what do we have here for this TV showdown here? All right, so 1 cent idle cost per day. So that's E4, which is the idle wattage, divided by 1,000 to convert to kilowatts, times E7, the number of hours off, times E8, which is the cost per kilowatt hour. So this would be why the Energy Star thing said that it would only be like $8 a year to use. I really am splitting hairs here. So with this goes to C's, C's, E's, and G's. Same thing here, right? C's, E's, and G's equals the idle cost plus the operating cost. 5 cents a day down to 2 cents a day. 1 cent a day if I hard switch it and eliminate the penny from the idle cost. And that's at 0.07 kilowatt. That's 0.07 cost per kilowatt hour. And then we take the cost per day, multiply by, darn button, cost per day multiplied by the number of days. So 140 in a 30-day, so $1 in a 40-day period. Down to 69 cents with the new one. 44 cents. So 40, let me set this to like 0.1. What is it? What are we doing? We're up to, so $2 down to 99 cents, down to 63 cents. So that's 30. Let's go for the Energy Star thing here. So let's make these equal that. Let's point all these at C9. Let's make this another one here with all this. So how about in a 365-day period? All right, yeah. 24 to 7 with 7 hours of operation. So let's make these point to this. Equals. And let's make this like that. So that's 7 hours a day. Bring it down to 6 hours a day. And it's just... that's over a 365-day period. Put it back to 7. Put this back to 30 days, reflecting on its contributions to the electric bill. Now, how about, what if we just leave it at 0.10 at this equals 365 times See, 2008. So 2008 TV, 10 years to 2018, 11 to 2019, 12 to 2020, 13 to 2021, 14 to 2022, although I didn't make it to, we'll do 13 because I didn't actually make it to the late 2022 with that TV. 13 years of operating the TV is 47. So here's the kind of money that I've lost over the life of the previous TV, which is from 08 to now. Operating costs $315.54 at 10 cents a kilowatt hour, $156.99.65. I don't know. We'll play with these numbers. We'll play with these numbers a little later on, but let's just keep this at 30 as is. It's just to kind of showcase the contributions to the monthly electric bill. So I guess the question is, and this is at 30. This is at 30 watts full wattage. So if I'm at like 35 because I'm making the screen a little brighter, you're still talking like $1. $1 at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. I don't know. We'll play with these numbers. We'll play with these numbers some other time. We'll play with these numbers a bit, but you're talking, or how about say if we crank the wattage all the way up when streaming? Just compare the max wattage, which was 188 watts, and this one caps at 50. You're talking like 395, 141, 105 if we hard switch it. So I don't know if it's really worth pursuing 365-day period, like $50 a year to run the TV versus $17.12 for the new one and $12.78 if we hard switch it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just use it as is. It's cool to have a voice-controlled TV. I think I'm splitting hairs here. The biggest improvement was, of course, the newer technology that is far more efficient than its predecessor. But even then, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't get the new TV until something started going wrong with the old one. Because this is the sort of thing that gets people with green electronics, is they chase after the energy savings, but they pay the upfront costs in order to get there. So this TV was $200-something to save $2 a month on energy. So $395, $295, $195, a little more than $2 a month at 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's just a matter of replace stuff when you can, but run things efficiently while you have it. Because if you're constantly jumping on the greenest of technologies, you will be paying a premium to get there. Same thing too with like incandescent to CF, incandescent to CF to LED. We'll play with these numbers a bit. Heck, for all I know, me trying to do this math at 3:20 in the morning at the end of a long night, I might have screwed something up along the way. But I think the formulas are what they're supposed to be. We take the wattage, convert to kilowatts, throw in the hours, and then cost per kilowatt hour, because we have kilowatts and hours together. Should I just look it up? Been a while since I've done one of these. Smurfavision. Woo! All right. Kilowatt hour. A kilowatt hour is a measure of how much energy you're using. Despite the name, it doesn't mean the number of kilowatts you're using 1 hour. It's a unit of measurement. It's the amount of energy. It's not the number of kilowatts you're using. It's the amount of energy you would use if you kept a 1,000-watt appliance running for an hour. 1,000 is a kilowatt. What is 1 kilowatt of power sustain? Oh, that's because it's from a power company. Let's look at Wikipedia here. Wikipedia. The kilowatt hour is a unit of energy equivalent to 1 kilowatt sustained for 1 hour, or 3,600 kilojoules. It is commonly used as a billing unit for energy delivered to consumers by electric utilities. Okay. Enough splitting hairs on math for one night. Let's talk about this computer stuff. Hey Jay, what computer can I be a YouTuber with? All right, time for the main discussion. And the primary reason why these things have clickable program guides these days in chapters, because these chat streams often have me like catching up on stuff here and there. I mean, I did have some issues with sunglasses and other stuff earlier, and of course there's the issue with the ESO PvPers welcoming somebody that they should be a little antagonistic to as like some kind of celebrity of sorts. But we'll save that's more of a Twitter sphere kind of thing here. All right, let's take a look at some of this here. What is this anyways? Hey, what's this viewer activity thing have on it? No super chats or members just yet. Stream health. Stream is healthy. Well, that's cool. Look at the stream health and things along those lines. I don't know. Why do I even bother with seeing it? Why do I even bother with the concurrent counter anyways? All right, so here's what, for those that weren't around at the beginning of the stream, here's what's going on. Got messaged. Where'd the phone go? It's a problem with wearing shades instead of ambers when doing this stuff. Hiding. It was camouflaged, blending in with the shadows. So one of my colleagues, one of my IRL colleagues, wants to get involved with YouTubing with a small YouTube channel, is asking, hey, what kind of computer should I get? Because of this, we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to try putting YouTube videos together on Nerdovo, the mid-range laptop I got last year, the Toshiba, the retired laptop from 2015, and Delosaurus Rex bone stock. Now, what I mean by that is I'm going to unplug the SSD. We're going to blank the games drive because I can just use the network to set everything up again later if I want to copy everything over. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Windows 10 on the hard drive and then pull the plug on the SSD. We'll blank the hard drive, install Windows 10 on it to simulate the experience if this guy goes out and he gets a computer with a hard drive in it, like a corporate refurb. Let me just, of course, Newegg has their problems right now, but let me just go to Newegg and showroom a little. Oh, I typed NEWG and I got Greenwich Holdings ticker symbol. The heck is that? All right, let me just see here. i7 3700 Dell Optiplex. I don't think the refurbs are actually coming with. We found 0 items that match i7. It's got to be. Oh, it's 3770. If I want to get the i7 Dell Optiplex from the Ivy Bridge era, Dell Optiplex 7010 mini tower. Oh, it's got 32 gigs of DDR3 nowadays. That'd probably be really good. Okay, yeah. All right. Refurbished desktop computers by Dell. Let me see here. I want to do i7, go to the Ivy Bridge era, because that's kind of the Delosaurus of today. So the number one problem that this guy's going to run into is that the computer that he's using is not going to run Windows 11. It's going to be too old. Unless he buys like a desktop or something, maybe like a Walmart special desktop. The problem is if you buy anything new, you're up against the part shortages and everything. At the same time, refurbs are probably going to get cheaper because you can't run Windows 11 on them. It's really a gamble as to whether or not you think that Windows 10 is going to become the new XP that nobody wants to get rid of. So Microsoft has to cave and extend the support date for Windows 10 because people don't want to give it up. It's the same thing happened with Windows XP. Not so much with Windows 7, but it's really been a while since there was a version of Windows that was that loved by people. Let's take a look at this. So at the $300 mark is the tower version of the Dell Optiplex 7010, Intel Ivy Bridge i7, 3.4 gigahertz, 32 gigs of DDR3, 250 gig hard drive. But here's the kicker. There's no operating system. So we want to get Windows 10 into the mix. Let's put that in there. Let's see. We want at least 16 gigs of RAM. Let's take a tower. Let's add mid tower and mini tower and tower into the thing here. And let's also make sure it comes with Windows 10. So include the OS costs. So I remember these going down below 3. Here's one. Yeah, here's one right here. Dell 9010T desktop computer. We're not signed in on this, are we? No, there's no Geo cookies or anything, is there? Sold and shipped by US Techno. It's a refurb company. 3770, 16 gigs. It has a 240 gig SSD. Okay, so there are refurbs with SSDs nowadays. So we'll go mechanical drive to simulate the worst. We'll go, oh, here's a good one. Optiplex, it's only got 8 gigs of RAM. Pass. We want at least 16 gigs of RAM, if not like 32 gigs. I'm running with 24, so 32 might be overkill. Remember, it's DDR3, so the speed's a little slower. All right, SSD for $300, 240 gig. 2 terabyte hard drive for $300. So remember, you're talking video footage and assets. There needs to be a place to save all of that while you're working on your video, unless you're going to be crunched for space. So it really depends on what kind of quality this thing is shooting. So storage is definitely something that needs to be a thing, even if it's a plug-in drive or a 1 terabyte SD card or something, but that would probably be slow as molasses. 16 gigs for $300. i7 Ivy Bridge, 2 terabyte hard drive. I have plenty of room for that kind of stuff. So I think really the best thing, 16 gigs, 2 terabyte, so about $300 seems to be what these are going for nowadays. So it's not suffering from any kind of price jacking because of all the shortages going on, because the computer's already built. I'm curious how many refurb people are trying to unload stock because they know that let's see, the Windows 10 end of life date is like 2025 or something. We're in 2022, so you're only going to get 3 years out of this thing before you have to figure something else out. So that's why I want to try a bunch of different machines here. I want to try Nerdovo running Windows 10 to show like a modern system with CPU only, what that does. I think we just need some plug-in storage and whatnot to not have to use the SSD for that. Turd Shiba would be like a refurbished laptop, but the Turd Shiba would not be eligible for Windows 11 upgrades. So I think Nerdovo is probably the best thing to tripping Google speakers with this stuff. I think Nerdovo is probably the best thing to go with for this. Who's still awake out there? So I think Nerdovo is probably the most accurate because you're talking a $500 laptop. It has an SSD, so you'd probably need a plug-in drive for that. But I gotta check, see, it probably only has, I think it only has 12 gigs of RAM or 8 gigs or something like that. So we'll probably try that out. Let's see how clunky this is. Only problem with getting an Optiplex, you still need a GPU even for video encoding, since the quick sync is pretty dated. We'll have to see what that looks like. We'll have to see what that looks like and compare it to what I made here. Hey, another visitor. What are you doing watching a guy talk about computers at 3:30 in the morning Eastern, US East? Well, because I'm from the EU and it's real morning over here. So plus 5 hours, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab some morning coffee now, huh? Mom has new yoga PC. Newer PCs have NVMe. Yeah, but this is somebody that doesn't really do much with technology. They want to get into YouTubing with a GoPro. So, yeah, there's a lot to think about from the hardware side. I want to see what kind of crappy hardware, what kind of experience we get with, say, yeah, I think those tech videos will cover everything. We'll do Nerdovo first, since it's pretty in the best position to install video editing software on it. So here's the plan with that. I'm going to take what I just made with that whole thing with the installing this panel. We're going to take the assets from that. We're going to save 2 copies of the Corel file. One's going to be completed, one's going to be not completed. It's going to have all the music in there. I want to see what running MP3s into that thing is nothing exciting. I want to see what it's like to try and move video clips in. See if it gets laggy or something like that. And then try to quick sync it, see if it picks up quick sync on the newer processor and see what that looks like, and see how long it takes to crunch. We can also crunch on Monolith as the control. Yeah, on Monolith as the control, I can tell you, well, the big thing is with Corel is incredibly crash-happy software. So you basically need to massage your save button as you get into all of this. I mean, even with what I have, which is i7 6700, 24 gigs of RAM, so because I was hitting the limit on 16 gigs with games and stuff earlier. 24 gigs of RAM, SSD and SSD M2 for the main system drive. I also have some mechanical drives, some regular SSDs in play. But the assets are actually being stored on the desktops. That means it's an M2 SSD. But I was using a regular SSD prior to getting the M2, so it wasn't all that wild of an experience in terms of the other stuff. The thing you run into with SSDs is that SSDs unthrottle the storage, and you'll start getting CPU limited when copying files, or when loading stuff in a video game. That's a huge thing I've noticed lately, is that without the overhead and the throttling inherent with slower storage, more data gets loaded and the processor gets pummeled, loading like Elder Scrolls Online or something. I've used KDen Live, but it's sketchy. Don't know what that is. Yeah, that's the thing. So we're talking somebody here new to YouTube. So I think we need to talk about the non-tech stuff related to YouTubing, and that is First of all, should you even be on YouTube in the first place? And I think the answer to that is quite straightforward. The answer is no. Unless you want to make videos for the general public, YouTube is not a good place. There actually is a guy there's a guy at the 9 to 5 video editing software. KDen Live. I don't know. Is it open source or something? I've been meaning to check out something besides Corel. There's also a version of Vegas on Steam. Get a copy of Vegas from Steam. Who would have thought that day would arrive? Steam does sell regular software. It's one of those little features that people forget about Steam. The fun part about software on Steam is that it's account-based for the access, so do it on any computer. So I'm unsure for an average person. Yeah, I started with ULead because that's what I had the demo disc of when I was in college. I made a project with that, started the channel with ULead Video Studio in 2006. Upgraded over the years, but the thing is, Corel is kind of garbage these days compared to something more like Vegas or something that's more established as a brand. It's totally consumer grade. This thing is constantly barfing on what I throw at it and crashing all the time. I basically have to massage the save button in order to not lose everything time and again and again. Then it thinks that certain videos are corrupted when they're not. So corrupted files cannot be dropped, so I just import them manually with the import button and put them into the UI, and they work just fine. So even though you're clicking and dragging to drop the file out of your asset pool into the timeline. It's like... So that's the thing I got to do. Basically, I have to move all the assets that I used in that tech video into a set of folders on the C drive root. So C:... and then we'll just move that over. We'll just copy that, save those files as is. We'll do a relink check on them, relink all the assets to C and the directory, then take everything over on an SD card to all these computers and put it on the C drive. See if we can run it on the C drive, take the assets we actually used, export them, get the links, put them into something, and then just basically recreate the file on the other computers and see what kind of experience it is, moving videos around, trimming videos, applying effects, and most importantly, what the actual final render is when we crunch everything together. I use Premiere Pro, but I need to dump Adobe. It's just expensive and I hate subs. Yeah, Adobe's gone like Microsoft Office with their stuff. So considering I get years out of the video editing stuff that I use, the latest was 2020, and I think I upgraded that because of the phantom syllable problem with MP4s, which it didn't fix, so I'm not going to buy the 2021 or 2022 version. Might check out Vegas on Steam as an alternative later in the year. I'll still keep Corel around for generating assets. Started on Movie Maker, but the last 4 years I've been on Vegas. Yeah, I want to see if I can get the version of Vegas that's on Steam so I can take it from system to system without having to reinstall it. Looking into DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. So the thing is, though, for some of the assets and stuff, like, for example, up in the corner there, that's generated with Corel, but it's chroma keyed in. So it's just a video that's looping, showing the shiny logo and everything. So these kinds of like visual effects, I'd keep Corel around to generate those and then just export them into something else. Yeah, as I've gotten into live streaming, some of the stuff that I put together, it's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a setup. That's one of the reasons why it's so important to have standardized templates and things like that. So you put everything together. Yeah, you put everything together and just do your thing. But the thing is, you standardize everything so it's easier to put things together after you make everything. But that's really the thing, is you take the assets, generate them somewhere, and then you can reuse them over and over again. So I might keep it KDen Live because money's been tight. That's part of the problem. It's one of the reasons why streaming is as popular as it is, because you don't need an editor. So if you're going to be live all the time, shoot, these streamers, they don't... It's interesting. They get big enough, like, I'm successful, yay! Yeah, So you want to actually learn any skills? I'll just hire an editor. Then they'll be like, not like the result, my editor is a troll, Or they crowdsource their editing through Discord. They have like contests and stuff, and they credit whoever makes the best video. So they basically crowdsource all their editing. It's been interesting over on Twitch because recently I was introduced to CuteBot, who does a dating show. She's one of those DSLR types who basically has an incredibly overkill camera and fires lighting upon herself and then like speed dates chat. But I went looking in her Discord. I went looking at her Discord, and there's an audition process and all kinds of like, screening that goes on, obviously to not get her banned, so people don't troll her and like say something TOS. But the big issue here is that the thing is, she came into streaming from STEM. She's a software engineer who just happens to be incredibly good looking. So she does a dating show on Twitch. It's a speed dating show on Twitch. I think she has a couple of streamer friends who jump in if she can't find anyone good to keep the show going, though. I've seen a couple of regulars over there, so to speak. She's supposedly speed dating chat. Yeah. Well, how come the same couple of chat streamers keep showing up and stuff like that? I might watch a couple of her VODs to see if the monotony ever gets broken up, but it's just the thing. She's coming into STEM. At least she has hard skills, though, so when she hangs it up with streaming, she can head off and do something else. Some of these other folks, though, just happen to get lucky or whatnot, or have the right friends, they, no, it's not going to work out. What are they going to do when their life has essentially been on pause for a couple of years when, when everything, dwindles for them? At least once every year, Humble Bundle puts out a Vegas bundle, which is like $30, which is pretty sweet. So I've gotten Vegas from for years. Yeah, I want to try the Steam version. So that way I can just take it from computer to computer and reinstall it by reinstalling Steam. Unless there's additional DRM on top of Steam. Be interesting opening up Steam Vegas in Steam and stuff like that. So I think, though, for our colleague's sake here, we got to talk about some other stuff besides the computers. He's asking me about the computers. We got to talk about the important sides of getting into YouTubing. So, for one thing, the question I have for him is, I'll probably message him back and ask him this, who's the audience? Because he's already on Facebook. So if his audience is just people he knows IRL, then he should just do it on Facebook. And like friends of friends, set the viewing to friends of friends or something. YouTube, there's a guy at the 9 to 5. He puts videos of his kids on YouTube. He has a personal YouTube channel, and all it's on there is home videos of his kids growing up. And I'm like, why isn't that on Facebook? I'm like, number one, YouTube, of course, you put it in kids mode and whatnot, so it disables a bunch of features made for kids. But this guy also plays music and plays in some jam bands. So if he wanted to make some videos about music, now a lot of his channel is limited to made for kids. Of course, every band he's been in has had a separate YouTube channel of its own. But if he wanted to show off the stuff that he's doing on his own, he can't do it on his personal channel because he's probably feature restricted from having too many videos that feature minors. So I think that's part of the issue with that. So YouTube is not the place. Probably should make a video about this too for the new MultimediaJay vlog that I'm tossing around, where I get in on this on this scene of people talking about content creation. But there's another thing that's going on with all of this. YouTube is only a place for stuff that is public facing, plain as day. I mean, if you're just doing family friends, put it on Facebook. Put it on Facebook and be done with it. So, yeah, we got to talk about that. YouTube, not only public facing, the algorithms can pass something around. You can go viral, that kind of thing. So if it's just videos for people he knows, it should be on Facebook. YouTube should not be the sort of thing. YouTube should not be a thing for him unless he wants something that's public facing. And even then, what are his plans for it? Especially when he's getting in on all of this. Really basic videos are going to be treated like home movies, similar to my other colleague's personal channel. So they're not getting like 5 views grand total. The systems aren't going to do anything because in order for YouTube to function as a one-size-fits-all video platform, there needs to be a place for people just doing home movies that don't want to even have an audience. They just want to like have grandma see the kids growing up or something. Let's not forget we're talking Meta versus Google here. This is Google's competing product to what Meta offers that can be restricted via friends lists and stuff like that. So taking it over to YouTube basically means there's a risk that it can become, viewable by the general public. And I don't know what this guy would exactly want to do. Plus, I don't know if he's familiar with YouTube's policies. Don't want him to be the umpteenth person losing a channel because of spam scams, and deceptive content from taking bad advice from somebody on how to grow a YouTube channel and ending up terminated because of it. And then, of course, there's the elephant in the room with all of this stuff, and that is internet safety. Granted, I don't think he plans on live streaming. He couldn't live stream anyways until he had 1,000 subscribers, at least outside of PC streaming. He can do chat streams, but to do mobile streaming on a phone would require 1,000 subs. But there's the other part of this, too, which is, of course, if you get doxxed, you have to move. Or you have to risk getting swatted or something. And the thing is, one of the things that I've stuck to, and the reason why a lot of you folks are here, and not a lot of people that I actually know are here, the reason why that's the case is because I don't talk about this. This is something people have to discover. They're often surprised by when they discover it, and there's a reason for that. A lot of the people that are closest to you are some of the worst people to have in your audience with this stuff, because these are the people, as one comedian put it, they have too much dirt on you. So these are the people that are most likely to embarrass you or to expose personal sensitive information or to put you at risk because they have no idea what they're doing. The classic example that I talk about is the overexcited grandma who sees like someone winning in a Madden game or something. They make a gaming video of like, oh, I beat this guy in Madden, and then they stream Madden or something, and overexcited grandma comes into the chat like, that's my grandson. I remember when you were all-star or whatever at such and such high school. Boom. You've just blurted an answer to a security question in the middle of a stream. Thanks, grandma. So, and then there's who can you trust? You know, maybe you have some really good friends, or maybe you have some family members that are really nice, but suppose there's an argument in the family. There's been plenty of those lately with all the arguments about COVID and the vaccine and everything. So what's to say that somebody who has an axe to grind against you couldn't go out you on social media somewhere and leave you prone to being swatted or something? Oh, just file a privacy complaint with YouTube. In the time it takes YouTube to respond to that privacy complaint, everything's exposed. You could delete the comment, but for the time, if it was like a comment or chat or something, but if it's somewhere else, if somebody's doxing you, then what? So there's always that thing that's hanging over content creators' heads. It's one of those many reasons why content creators can turn into very distrustful people. They won't become friends with just anybody. They won't let anybody on their stream because of haters that know how to play the system. Let's take a streamer, for example, that plays video games at random people. Those people had better be vetted. Otherwise, there actually have been people, I've seen the Twitter clips, who were Twitch streaming, and somebody who hated them got on voice comms and started blurting out a bunch of racial slurs to try and get him banned. It's the world we live in. People ruin everything. The only people who know like art stuff is my parents. The people closest to you are among the worst people to have in your audience because they can pull something like that. Oftentimes, I mean, if you're the one that's been trying to figure out content creation and they haven't, then, you know, they need to be brought up to speed on just what the stakes are with this kind of stuff. I think my dad's in pretty good shape with that. Of course, he never says anything. I do know that he knows about the channel because he let that slip in one of his emails. But it's just kind of strange, you know? You think you're getting somewhere with all of this, and then the people who should be sharing in all the fun are some of the worst people that you can have sharing in all the fun. It's crazy. So, IRL people, I mean, yeah. So that's the thing. The question I have for this guy is, what does he want to make? What does he want to do on his YouTube channel? And what's the audience? Can it just go to Facebook instead? Does he even know that Facebook has a video feature that he can use? He can edit the videos and upload them on Facebook. Facebook even has asset libraries similar to the YouTube audio library. And I think the Facebook audio library actually has real songs with vocals and everything. So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see where this goes from here. But I'll be doing some tech videos to kind of show YouTubing on some older, slower computers, just to see what it looks like for this. Just see what it looks like for this guy. I think, though, Nerdovo is going to be the most pertinent, because I don't think he's going to want to mess with refurbs, especially when I tell him, look, Windows 10's going obsolete in a couple of years. Assuming Microsoft doesn't extend the service window, we're probably looking at a computer apocalypse of dirt cheap refurbs used as Linux machines. So, I mean, we're already seeing more stuff being packed into these refurbs that are being sold nowadays. There's SSDs and larger hard drives at $300 price point. So I remember when you were paying like $350 for an i7 machine, but that was like a year or two ago. The Allosaurus Rex thing was when? Yeah, silent march of technology, silent march of time. So that's what's going to be going on here. It's 3:47 at the Geek House. Anybody still here? So, yeah, I guess this was kind of clunky as all heck. We'll need to put a program guide in this one, so we'll do that. But that's the thing. I don't expect streaming to be too much of a thing for me for the foreseeable future, especially when we got to get these things replaced because of the old polarized glasses thing. I bet I can make like that. Now you see it, now you don't. Because this panel emits light sideways versus the TV. So anything polarized, you can't even see your own screen. Now you see it, now you don't. What were they thinking over there at Walmart? $80 monitor, I shouldn't expect very much, I know. But looks good for an $80 monitor until you try, looking at it with polarized sunglasses. I wouldn't tell normal people to install Linux after Windows 10 is done. Well, one of the reasons why Microsoft upped the requirements Windows 11 was security at the hardware level, because security at the software level is more easily compromised. It's one of those things you'll care about if you're looking at preventing identity theft in the enterprise. So more things have to be brought to physical existing things, because software can be toyed with and messed with, even microcode on the processors. One of the reasons why I retired the turd Shiba is it doesn't have support for patching for Spectre and Meltdown. Plus, it was just that machine spent most of its life having some little thing going wrong on it. So, not a moment too soon in retiring that thing. 349, we're going to put a clickable program guide on this thing for the after the fact crowd, which will probably include this guy. Where'd the phone go? Let me just review his message one more time. So we'll be looking at that. Probably when I look at this later, I'll probably do a YouTube short. Put something in the short circuit for this when we get everything figured out. But there will be some experimenting going on. Give me some specs on a computer to start a small YouTube channel. Falling asleep here. I want to upload video and edit and download onto... It's called uploading when you put stuff on YouTube. Using a GoPro with a micro SD card. I wonder if he's ever tried anything with his phone camera. If he has one of those better leased smartphones, he can shoot video with his phone too. There's plenty of YouTubers that start with phones, but apparently he got a GoPro. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to see what the quality is on that thing. But yeah. We'll do some experimenting, using something to do with tech videos anyways. If it wasn't for this, I've got a couple other things up my sleeve as well. We got to do some experimenting with routers and an 802.11ac Wi-Fi thing, so we can look at hybrid connectivity for this machine. So here's the thing. Since the internet is going past the 110 mark in this area for under $100 a month, the plan that I have for this is to have a more stable but slower connection for streaming, stuff like what I'm doing now, and then have a faster connection for massive downloads like on Steam, and basically turn the computer into something resembling a laptop, where it has regular and wireless. Something else I discovered is that WinP, the shortcut for that, opens a menu similar to the menu on laptops, where you pick your laptop screen, projector, both, etc. And those can all be configured. So I want to set something up for this new setup, because with less HDMI ports in the TV, for when I'm streaming consoles, I'm going to go down to just this screen doing everything, and then have like the console on the main screen. So we'll do everything that way. That way you don't have to worry about moving OBS off the screen or something. So we're just going to mirror it to the AV receiver for sound, and then have a combination of everything set up. So that way, and we'll just I also have an HDMI switch that I never did anything with, so I want to see if that introduces latency when I'm running the TV in game mode. So maybe I won't even have to, do anything with plugging and unplugging from the TV. But in order to use the Elgato box with the console, the Elgato box sends the video to the computer, but that introduces latency. The Elgato box sends everything to the computer, but the fastest picture draw is going to come from the alternate out that sends it straight to your TV. So that way you can game without being slowed down by latency being introduced by the Elgato box. So I got to get that set up. I have an HDMI switch I picked up from Walmart like 2 years ago and never found a use for it. So we'll hook that up so you can also get the Elgato in and swap out what's coming from the computer with what's coming from the Elgato. We'll be sure to use WinP though to switch it over to only using screen 2. So I want only using screen 1, 2 setups for a regular mirrored or whatever it is, and then only using screen 2. Set that up, use everything to switch between the two. It's got to be like using a laptop with the projector button. Except we don't have a projector in play here. And figure out this display thing. So I think we'll try sunglasses first, but I seriously wonder if I should just go look for like another Samsung to bolt onto here. Have everything back to being all Samsungs again. Just no curved monitors. It's a secondary monitor, so it doesn't have to be anything fancy. The problem is I'm looking at paying like almost double what I paid for this $80 monitor. And then what do we do over in the project area? We don't need multiple displays. Although we could always just do like a test bench setup with one of those panel splitters that are a second panel. Custom mount that thing off to the side and have the Samsung monitor in there as well. Or just keep the Samsung monitor around as a backup of sorts in case the TV fries or something. You never know. It just doesn't support custom mounting though. Or sell it, who knows. But the problem with the Samsung is that had something tip over and put a big scratch in the screen. So I really don't know. So I'll have to figure it out. There's a lot we have to figure out. To say nothing of the other stuff that's going on. I picked up Needy Streamer Overload on Steam last night. $15. Definitely a couple of laughs in there for game streams. It's a game basically about you being the boyfriend manager of a snotty streamer over in Japan. So it's something else. So I saw Reggie playing it on Twitch a couple of weeks ago, but I think she was seriously trying to play the game. I think there's more entertainment value to be found if we mess with the game rather than play it. It's supposed to be something similar to a simulation, but I think I'm gonna treat it like it's satire. With all the cynicism that I have towards stuck-up Twitch streamers and whatnot, and stuck-up streamers in general, that should be hilarious. That should be hilarious. Just got to get a setup going for game streams to set that up. We'll figure it out. All right. What are we at? 3, 2, etc. Yeah, 355 the Geek Caps. We're gonna put a clickable program guide on this. I said that, you know, these chat streams and whatnot were going to be a little unstructured. I think this is a great example of that. This is one of the big reasons why. So to sum everything up for our colleague here, does he even need to be on YouTube? And we'll do experiments with the hardware to figure it out. Just the wild cards are that the part shortages are in play. The part shortages are in play, and we also have Windows 10 going EOL in a couple of years. That'll affect things too. 2022. Interesting. Right. It's called a morning here. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by. And this is going to be a little redundant because the song that I have set for the outro is what was just playing.